Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I have not done a share of my journaling pages in a while, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I just have been more busy with life, and also journaling has kind of just taken a back seat. So I tried doing like half pages in May to see if I wanted to journal more. I did not. So then I just did like 2 weeks in one 2-page spread. So right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with my journal. And for June, I am definitely going to stick with keeping the currently page. I love making these currently pages. I'm using a Tracy Reed summer camp kit from last year and adding in all the awesome die cuts, and then I will add in some Everyday Explorers stamps for the prompts. I usually stick with just a few die cuts over on the right hand side and also the month, and then over on the left hand side I'm putting a ton of die cuts up at the top, making like almost a little scene, and then I'll have another scene down at the bottom with the hiking shoes and fresh air. I then pick my different prompts that I want to use. I do these prompts that way I can kind of document what's going on in the month. Usually current favorites, and usually what we're watching, different trails that we explored, and projects that I'm making. And then I just adhere everything down and add in the bullet points. So for this month, I did current favorite, on the trail, best beach read, currently watching, currently listening to, currently celebrating, and currently making. So lots of prompts, and it comes out to be a really busy, fun page that to me still works even though it is a busy page. And right in the center, I add currently, because I just feel like that just is the title, and it just makes the theme very obvious. And below the trees, I stamped Love Lazy Summer Days, so that way it kind of anchors the trees. And then I will add some more stamps over on the other side and make sure I stamp in all my prompts. And beach reads, I have a few that are coming in, but for me, those will also include like the books that everybody's talking about and the romance books that I am excited to read, like Meet Me at the Lake and Love Buzz. I think that's what those are called. And right now I'm trying to conquer Demon Copperhead. It's a book that everybody seems to have read, and I am currently trying to make my way through it. The last little prompt I snuck in down at the bottom was currently celebrating, since we just celebrated my son graduating 8th grade, which is absolutely incredible. I can't believe that happened. And now I have a high schooler. I used a little arrow for my bullet points, and that way I can write things in as I go through the month. Now I can work on the first weekly spread, which is going to be the 1st through the 5th. And for this one, I am just getting out my Ali Edwards stamps, and I'm going to town. I have this particular leaf stamp that I'm obsessed with, and if you've been around here, you know that I'm obsessed with it, and I use it all the time. So I got out my super bright Distress Oxide, I think it's Mowed Lawn, and I stamped that first. Then I grabbed an Ali Edwards ink and stamped that next. And so I'm just putting these leaves all over the place. Then I will add in June with nice big letters, since I only have to put 4 days. It's 4 days. I said 5, but it's actually 4. And once I've got all the leaves that I want and stamped June, I'm now going to use the new Floral stamp set and stamp the huge flowers. It comes with a solid and then an outline. So I'm doing the solid first, and then I will stamp over with the outline in orange. And that way it pops from the yellow background. My next step is going to be adding in the days, and I decided to use this stamp set from Laura Wansick and Ali Edwards to stamp out my days, just like the first few letters. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I just love how there's a good contrast between the June that's really bold, and then the smaller cursive that is the stamp set that I'm using for the dates. And then I will just draw a line underneath the actual days, so that way it has a nice place to rest the days, and then I will stamp the actual dates. And the final step is going to be adding in some pink flowers, and I had 3 of these girls that I wanted to use up from a Pineberry paper sticker sheet, and then the sticker sheet's all finished. But I also use these stickers in my planner, passion planner for the week of my birthday. So it went well with in my journal and my passion planner. So, and now the sheet is all done. So again, adding in these pink flowers kind of in the background, and then this spread will be all done and I can move on to the next one. I also added in a very large pink flower, but it really did not show up. I actually need probably a lighter pink shade because this pink is almost too light. So that one's all done, and now I'm going to move on to the next week, which is the 5th through the 11th, and I will be using the CutShoppe Document 365 kit, which I absolutely love, but I actually went pretty light as far as using the die cuts or the papers. I just used a few, and yeah, I kept it very simple. I really wanted to not necessarily like not spend a lot of time on my journal spreads, but I didn't want to overthink it. I feel like sometimes I overthink it and try to add all the stuff to my journaling pages, but this month I wanted to just try not to do that. So I did the days, and I used an Ali Edwards stamp set. Then I used a Carrie Bradford stamp set for the numbers and also the month, June. And then what I'll do is I have a cluster down at the bottom right, and then I'll make another small one up at the top by June. And I also have some papers left over from a project. It's like a striped one with all the colors of the kit, and also a polka dot one that's blue. So I will use those to just add a little bit of shapes and movement to the spread, and then that's it. That's really it. Very simple, and I really like it. I'm also going to use this kit again for the last spread of the month, but kind of do it a little bit different. So it's going to be fun to see it. So that's another thing that I tried with my June journal spreads is I focused mainly on Ali Edwards and the CutShoppe and how I can use them in different ways. And also using my stamps more and figuring out ways to use my stamps. Because like I said a little bit ago, sometimes I want to add all the stuff, or I want to die cut all the stuff and get all the printable kits. But this time I really just wanted to focus on not so much spending too much time on that stuff, but just make sure I get my journal spreads done and I'm setting myself up for success in the month. Because I do find it to be so much fun to plan out how I'm going to decorate my journal and what kind of theme am I going to do. For this spread, I am using just my stamps from Everyday Explorers. There is a summer themed stamp set, and I can't remember what it's called. It came out last year. I think it's called Poolside. And I absolutely love it. So I am going to use that stamp set to decorate my page, and then use my markers and also my blending brushes as well. So I'm going to do small little clusters all over the place, stamp it, and then color it in. And June that I stamped, that was from a Studio Calico stamp set. And the days are from Everyday Explorers, and then the dates are Ali Edwards. So really putting my stamps to work here and making them all work for me. And as far as the columns design that I did, I usually do, I count 10 or 11 and then make a line. It's not necessarily perfect, but I am not one of those that likes to count a bunch of dots. So I just do my best. So I am stamping the popsicle, the fish, and bubbles, and then down at the bottom, Days of Summer. And it's one of the bigger stamps that has waves below it. And then the other one, Oh Hello Sunshine, that one I put up at the top. There's another really cool stamp in it with a towel, a little book, and a phone, and some sunglasses. So I made sure to include that as well down in the bottom right. So I grabbed a Post-it note so that way I could use my blending brush on the waves and make that blue. And above that, I will do yellow for Days of Summer and also the sunshine one. I think it turned out really cool, and it's just something fun to do. It kind of, the ink kind of felt like it got a little smudged, but that's okay. I still really had a lot of fun playing with my blending brushes and also getting out my markers. I want to make sure that I stamp the days because I almost forgot that. I got so carried away with all the stamping, I almost forgot the stamping of the days and dates. Saturday and Sunday, I'm just going to break those into two. And for me, having less space on the weekend works just fine for me. I don't need a lot of space on the weekends. So I'm finishing up stamping the dates, and this is a December Daily Ali Edwards stamp set. It had a bunch of different numbers in it, different fonts. Now I'm going to go ahead and color in everything, and you guys, you have to try this. Stamping in black and then coloring in with your markers. It reminds me of being a little kid, and it is so fun and definitely something that I want to try to do more often because it's just so fun. So I colored in the bathing suit pink, and the fish is blue. And of course, the glass up there is lemonade, and I even colored in the straw as well. Since I had a bright pink bathing suit, I decided to make the beach towel really bright orange and then pink little stripes down in the middle of it. And then I will fill in the Fun in the Sun stamp. And since I had colored that in with kind of a light brown color, I decided that I wanted to have another stamped phrase that is similar and needs to be, or that I want to color in with this brown color. So I'm going to go ahead and get out a stamp that says Under the Sun. Then I can color in the sun and also the rest of the inside of the stamp. That way it's all balanced out. And then that spread, or this spread, will be all finished up, and I can move on to the next one where I used Ali Edward products again, and I got a little bit fancy. But overall, I had more of a difficult time trying to figure out the design for this particular spread that's coming up. Okay, so for this one, I decided to take the leaf stamp that I love. I decided to take that and actually die cut it. There's a journaling card from the April Stories by the Month that has the same leaf. So I just took that and die cut it along with a bunch of flowers from the Happy Story Kit. I then used a piece of white paper to draw my boxes. It's roughly 2.5 inches by like 4 inches or something like that. But then things got a little wonky down at the bottom, and I wound up drawing a line too far down on the box that's in the middle. I'm going to cover that up with some die cuts, and overall, like I was just saying, this design turned out a little wonky and not what I was expecting. I think I even left in my frustrated hands. I was like, I can't believe how this turned out, because it didn't look so great, but you know what? Whatever. I kept it, and I didn't rip out the pages, and yeah, whatever. What can you do? Because it's not like I could rip these pages out of my journal and like throw them away. There's my hands getting frustrated, you know, but like I said, I can't throw the pages away. So I'm just going to roll with it and use the die cuts that I have, and also the Happy Story Kit stamp set, which I absolutely love. It has lots of awesome happy phrases, and I love it. Plus all the bright colors. Definitely excited to use some bright colors. I have this pile of die cuts that I am going to sprinkle around my page, including making that cluster to cover up the whiteout on the messed up box down on the bottom left-hand side. And then from there, just adding in all of these little die cuts that I made, but I don't want to adhere them down yet. I just want to figure out where the clusters are going to go, because I want to stamp behind a lot of the clusters. There's a sunburst in the stamp set, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And there's also a circle one that's made of little dots, so I will use that as well. That way it makes a really nice layered stamp cluster that I have going on. Then I can go ahead ahead and glue everything down. And I also made sure that a lot of the different greenery faces in different directions, which adds to the overall movement of the page. And of course, my glue pen comes in handy. So I am excited to have this page be so bright and colorful, and just also use a story kit from Ali Edwards for journaling. I think sometimes as scrapbookers, we think that we have to just use a scrapbook kit as is, but I really think that there is so many possibilities with a scrapbook kit. You can use it for your journal, for your planner, for your mixed media, whatever you can think of, you can use it, and scrapbooking kits can go the extra mile. There's also 2 circle phrases on this stamp set. So one says "so happy" and another one says "joy." So I definitely stamped those, and I stamped "overjoyed" in 2 different sections. And then there's tiny script font or typewriter font phrases that I'm going to use. "So many beautiful reasons to be happy" is going to go on the bottom right. "Do more of what makes you happy" is up in the top right on the left-hand side, and then there's "finding joy in the ordinary." Also going to use "yay" and stamp that several times. Doesn't have to be perfect, it still looks awesome. Then I will use this number stamp set again to stamp my days. And I like to stamp the number, like if it's a bunch of 1s, I'll stamp that first, and then the 2s, and then I'll go from there. And to me, that's just easier to use the number that you have to use multiple times. So got this spread completely done, and it is gorgeous. I love it. Now I'm going to go with the CutShoppe again, this time focusing more on the brighter, bolder colors, because when I pulled out these die cuts that had the days of the week, they were mainly reds and oranges and yellows, and then like a pop of green. So I am going to use those, and also some die cuts that I made from the digital stamps. So I made Summer Love. That was sunglasses and the phrase, and I just used the digital stamp, and I recolored it to 2 different colors, and then added that white stroke behind it. I've done a tutorial for that, and I also did this same technique for the June up in the top left corner. I have some phrases that I know that I want to use on this spread, but first I want to add in those layering stamps first. And going with Everyday Explorers, again, I have some dots that I'm going to do in that green so I can get that pop of green. Also have a bright orange flower, and then some outline circles as well. I also really liked this large stamp that has like the hash marks, but it also reminded me of the pool towel that I used earlier in a spread from 2 weeks ago. So it kind of goes with that whole theme of summer. So I'm just adding that all over the place, making lots of different clusters, and I'm really loving the bold color theme that I went with for this spread. I also have a really awesome phrase from Everyday Explorers that says "currently enjoying, this is the life." So I stamped that, and I also stamped summer. And then down at the bottom, I put the "summer love" and "soaking up the sun," and also an ice cream. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the days, and realize that I need to grab Friday, because I was like, where am I going to put 30? And I double checked my days. I didn't date anything wrong. I just needed to add 1 extra day. So I grabbed the Friday and just put it over on the other side, because the right hand side is just mainly going to be highlights or favorite things from the month. So I'll still have room to do that even after journaling for the 30th. So now that I have the dates, I'm going to go back and show you all the pages for June, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these all come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.